How's everybody doing?
Howdy.
Hello.
We are here. We are live on. See who we got in here. Read some of these messages. Hope things are improving. There are saw the forecast of storms the next couple of days in Chiang Mai, even in Bangkok. It's raining a little bit. We have not seen any rain here. I just saw somebody predicted it's supposed to rain Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but so far you can forget about Saturday now. Tomorrow might be another day. I saw the governor has finally issued a stay at home advice as well, not meaning, yeah. Yeah, I did see that. They wanted everybody to work from home, kind of like COVID.
They actually extended that.
Hmm?
They actually extended that. It actually kicked off last week. And the governor extended it because the smog is still bad, obviously.
Huh. Yeah. They're gonna have to do something. Praying for rain. Yeah, we are too. Thanks. That's an old one that we had. I just threw it up there, but yeah, I went up into the city today. I wanted to go get something to eat, so I drove up to Get-Go and had some food. I figured I'd run by Taipei Gate and see what it looked like over there. See if people are starting to come in. Really, it looked pretty dead. I mean, it doesn't seem to be really anything going on.
I noticed they set up the fountains and stuff up there, though, and the lights.
Well, they're setting up 2 stages, so I don't know what they're going to do. Is she camera shy, Charlie?
Yeah, clearly she won't come over. She doesn't have a makeup on, so.
Okay. We won't worry about it. But yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. And be honest with you, I really don't care. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Because I don't have any intentions of going up there at all.
No.
Not during that mess. Because you get in that traffic there, you never get out of it.
Yeah, it sounds like fun, hanging out with drunks, getting polluted water thrown on you while you're breathing in smoke. That sounds like a party to me.
Well, come on up and do it.
Wet T-shirts.
Yeah, you can get one of those flowered shirts. As a matter of fact, I've got one somewhere that I've had for years. But it's when you first get here, it's fun to do it a few times, and then after a while, it kind of gets old, and you kind of stay away from it. But
I have a friend that's been coming here. My friend Paul, who's I think he's 58 now. He's starting to get up there, but he's in great shape and he likes to get around and stuff. He walks a lot too. He's always walking all over the city, and he first came here like in the 80s. So and he loves Songkran. He just puts on clothes that he knows are going to get wet. He goes out and he buys one of those great big pump 'em up water pistols and. He loves it. He's like a great big kid running around squirting water at each other and having fun. And, he enjoys it. I'm like, not me. It's not. You can go without me. I'll.
Yeah, that's. It used to be kind of fun. I mean, one year that I remember, Taipei Gate, they had the Air Asia booth, and what they were doing was they were spraying foam out and stuff like that. And they had a couple other little booths that were set up and giving people water and things like that. And they had shows and stuff. And it wasn't too bad, but from there it just kind of got crazy. Now one year, the mall that just closed down, I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. Now they had used to have a big stage set up there, and it'd take you 3 hours to get through there. The air's bad when your friend in the fields heading south. Yeah, that's about the truth. Yeah, when the winds are pushing the smoke down here in Bangkok as well. I'm complaining about the conditions, saying he's going to be meeting with the Thai. Yeah, we just forget about that.
Did you see the video of the Air Asia where they videotaped the airplane was at the gate at Chiang Mai and they videotaped it from there all the way till it landed in Bangkok? Have you seen that?
No.
It just came out today, as a matter of fact, that they did it. and the smog is so bad. You know, I'm looking at Chiang Mai and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so terrible. Then they get up high in the sky and it's, nice and blue up there.
Mm-hmm.
Then they start coming in for a landing to Bangkok, and Bangkok looks terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's bad.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. It says, don't do Songkran these days, but still enjoy Loy Krathong. Yeah, I like Loy Krathong. It's kind of fun. Go up and watch them, float the lanterns and the fireworks. I can't remember if I went up this year or not. I really don't remember. I think I did, but I remember one year I went up. I think it was probably 2018 or 2019, and it was just mobbed up there. And I thought they were going to set the governor. They were setting off those lanterns. And I thought they were going to set the governor's house on fire. But you can only see about 3. Yeah. Well, you can't see very far here. I can get out in the field here, and I maybe can see the houses across the field, maybe not. But as far as the mountains, they're gone. And, it's pretty pitiful. Hopefully, it'll clear up. We'll see what happens, but I don't. Until we have probably 5 or 6 good solid days of raining, I don't see it doing much of anything really. But what about down your way, Charlie? How is it?
Well, I haven't been going out a lot. I've been indoors doing messing with my photography and practicing yoga and stuff. So I went out shopping earlier today, and I think I mentioned to you. Look, I think it was cloudy. It's like you're living in a strange place when you can't tell whether it's smoke or clouds. Whenever I can't see the sky, I presume it's smoke. But I think it was clouds. I think we just had a cloudy day today. And
I've got speaking of that, I've got solar lights in my bushes, that light up the bushes at nighttime, make it look pretty. And there's 2 little solar panels on my walls to generate the power for it. In the last 2 days, those lights have not been working because the sun can't penetrate the solar panels.
Yeah.
Because of the thick smog,
Yeah. It's unreal.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
And I think further north up in Chiang Rai, it's worse than it is here. I think they're getting hit worse than we are. So I don't know, but it's pretty bad. He says all 3 macros sold out of air purifiers. Yeah, I'd say they did. I had heard you can get them from Power Buy, but I don't know how true that is now. But
yeah, I saw a gal yesterday at Macro. She had like 6 of them in her basket.
Really?
Yep.
Damn. What I usually do is I buy my filters about 3 months before smoke season. Because right now, if I needed to replace the filters, you can't get filters. And so I order about three or 4 of them before smoke season starts, and that way I'm in good shape. Makes you wonder through all the Bangkok governor says something. Yeah, it's about true. I don't know if there's a. I think the smoke is something that's going to have to be handled on a higher level than just a governor or something like that. They're going to have to do something. I'm coming to Chiang Mai soon as the air clears. Okay. I hope you're not in any big
Might
hurry.
be a month or 2.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Yeah, I'll tell you, and this is the longest I ever remember it being this bad.
So on a different topic, I have a question. Either of you guys or any of the listeners ever been to Mongolia?
No.
No.
I lived and worked in China, but I never went to Mongolia.
I was looking at different places. I have a bunch of air miles on Korean Airlines, and the scam with these air mile things is when you go to cash them in, you can never find a trip that you really want to take with them. They limit where you could use them. But I found a flight to Mongolia And I thought, oh, I've always been curious about that,
Mm.
Ulaanbaatar, and it's like cool up there. And I was looking on YouTube, and somebody had posted a video like 2 days ago, and the air was beautiful
Hmm.
and clean, and it's a little
Yeah.
crisp. It get cold at night
It's a
still.
nice
It's
place to go.
Mongolia is a cold place, but it is starting to turn to spring. And I thinking I might just take a quick trip up there to see what it looks like.
What's the capital there? It's like Ulaanbaatar or something like that.
There's Ulaanbaatar, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. And
That's it. Yeah.
and in tents.
Right. Yeah. No,
They
I've
still
seen
live in tents
videos.
there out in the countryside.
Yeah, the city's actually that main city's actually big, supposedly. It's
Hmm.
mainly Chinese living there, not so many Mongolians, but once you get outside the city, you're out there.
Hmm.
I'm curious about it. It's an interesting country. Their big national hero is Genghis Khan,
Mm.
and that was in the 12th century. What have you
Right.
done for me lately, Mongolia? It's like they've never figured out an act two. It looks like a pretty poor country. A lot of people still do live as sheep and goat herders out on the steppes.
Mm.
There are a lot of plains there, but there's a certain beauty about the place too that
Mm.
looks interesting. And the city. There was one of the videos I was looking at today had a statistic about the population, and it was a very high percentage of the population of Mongolia lives in Ulaanbaatar. And it was a big number. It was more than 50%. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's most of the people in the country live in that city, which looked like there's a big Soviet influence back in the day, so it has that kind of Soviet look about it. But there's some nice looking places too, and it looks like clean and safe and well kept. And the video I looked at had a guy wandering through a department store, so they had all the international brands there in English and stuff. So it's it looked like a decent place to just go visit and maybe get out and go horseback riding in the steppes.
There you go.
And a motorcycle.
I don't do
Oh.
motorcycles, but I do horses. I used to ride horses when I was younger. They tell me you don't forget. You remember
No.
as soon as you get back.
Your butt forgets.
Mm.
It takes you a while to get your butt back in shape. But
I had that experience the last time I went riding in Texas. I was really sore for a couple of days
Yeah,
afterwards. So,
I had 3 horses in Tennessee, and
oh, did you?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I had a Tennessee walking horse. I had 2 quarter horses,
Did you
and
know how to shoe them and all that stuff? Or
I used to show them, yeah, but
oh, wow.
it was actually cheaper to have somebody else do it because I wasn't that good at it. But yeah, I had them for probably about 10 years. And,
Oh, wow. That's a real horseman.
nah, not really. But I used to take them up in the mountains and ride up in the mountains and stuff. Had a lot of fun, but the thing was they're awful expensive because you got to feed them and you got the vet bills and it started getting increasingly expensive. As time went on, and I just I didn't have that much time to spend with him. My water lady, thank you.
Hello.
Hey, look.
So I let somebody else take care of them after a while, but yeah, I did the horse thing. When I moved to Tennessee, that was one of the things that I wanted to have as a horse, and I got one. But
That's all right. I moved to Thailand. I wanted to have an elephant, but I've since reconsidered, especially that I live in the city.
you might get a monkey. Could get a monkey.
I don't like monkeys. They are nasty little creatures.
They are mean little boogers.
Yeah, I
They
don't
are.
like them at all.
The ones here,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right.
There's a really cute Thai movie that I discovered. I've actually watched it twice. It's in Thai. You have to read the subtitles as English subtitles. It's called Popeye, and Popeye is an elephant. And it's the story of this Bangkok architect in his late 50s, early 60s, that kind of thing. You know, frustrated with his life and not getting along real well with his wife. And he runs into some kind of circus guy, and he recognizes an elephant named Popeye that he grew up with. And it's about him. He rescues Popeye from the circus and walks him back up north. And it's a cute picture. What I liked about it, it really captured a lot about Thai culture that it's taken me some time to learn about by living here. And they kind of expressed it in that movie. Like, for instance, he was in this one town, the police stopped him because he wasn't a licensed mahout or something like that. And they were all in a restaurant eating. You know, the cops had one of their little police pickup trucks, and you know, he still had to walk the elephant, but they were walking the elephant back to wherever the police were from, and they were going to impound the elephant and fine him or some such thing like that. And they're all in the restaurant eating, and a ladyboy performer helps the guy to escape the police, you know, and by unlocking the elephant. They had the elephant chained to a tree in the outside. Mm-hmm. And the whole interchange with this kind of aging, you know, sad ladyboy was really, it was a really compelling kind of experience of Thai culture, you know, because it wasn't in the city with the, you know, with the kind of Nana Plaza things. It was this, you know, kind of middle-aged, you know, transgender person that, you know, wasn't the happiest person in the world, but befriends this poor architect because he's the police are locking him up because of his elephant and stuff. It's just kind of a nice story. Oh, by the way, when he finally gets up to Low, that's what where my girlfriend is from. That's way up north and in the center of the country. And he does finally get it there and finds an old friend of his who goes out and looks at the elephant and goes, "That's not Popeye." He goes, "Popeye was put down years ago."
Said wanted an elephant. How about a whole sanctuary? Good price. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I'm sure there's a bar girl to sell you one.
Yeah, take your money. But
that's right. He just did a video about
it. Yeah, I just did a video. Matter of fact, I think he was probably the one who told me about it. But I've not found anybody that I've found, you know, the articles about it, but I haven't found anybody that was physically aware of it that knew anything about it. I asked a couple of people that had lived here for a long time, and they said no, they'd never heard about it. But you know, the news media reported on it, so if the news said it, especially here, it's got to be true.
The thing with these people that are allow themselves to be fooled by these con artists is always, you know, fascinated me. I have something going on. I've never fallen for them because I just don't, you know, I don't trust people like that. I pick up on it right away. I don't know why. Maybe because of where I grew up. But I remember in a bar in Brooklyn, this is a long, long time ago. We're talking about the 1970s. A guy came in and he's a very diminutive, well-dressed, you know, Irish American guy, very well-spoken and stuff. And he came over to me and he was talking to different people at the bar. And he came over to me, and this is early in the evening. It wasn't that late. The bar wasn't that crowded. And he sits down next to me. He goes, your name's Hubbard, right? I said, yeah. And he says, your father was a cop, wasn't he? Yeah, you know my father? And he was, oh yeah, he was a tough guy. So right away, I know this guy I figure, well, maybe my father locked him up. I don't know what his relationship with my father was. My father wasn't a tough guy. He was a gentleman. He was a really nice guy. And you know, he didn't have a tough guy persona. So for him to say that told me he didn't really know my father, right? So that was where the bell went off. To make a long story short, this guy was selling TVs off the back of a truck. I got this deal, you know, I got this free TV, color TVs, and I just need a little down payment, that kind of thing, right? And I dismissed him. I just blew him off, and I finished my beer and I went home. I go back to the bar 2 or 3 days later, and I used to work for Frito-Lay. I was selling them potato chips, and I used to stop there on the way home, and you know, maybe once or twice a week with a big canister of chips that they sold behind the bar, right? And I walk in, and everybody at the bar turns and looks at me and goes, he knew you, that kind of thing. And I said, what are you talking about? He ripped all of them off. Now, these guys in the bar were cops and criminals. It was that kind of bar. The owner of it was a mob guy. and one of the bartenders was a retired fireman, and there's I never used to go there at night. This is back when I was married and had a family. I used to stop there on the way home from work when I was working at Frito-Lay. And but at night it was more like a nightclub, and it was filled with cops and criminals, and they all had guns. I used to say, if a fight broke out there, you would never know who the good guys were. I guess the guys with the cheap shoes would be the good guys. But this guy ripped all of them off, and his name was Tim. That's what it was. And how he knew it is what I had forgotten about when I first got to the bar. The bartender had the phone. This is back in the day when phones were attached to one. He goes, Charlie Hubbard here. That's how the guy got my name, right? And I went over, it was my wife who wanted me to bring home, so I hung up the phone. And he picked up what my name was from the phone call, and he waited long enough so I'd forgotten about the phone call. And I guess from the conversation with other people in the bar, he picked up that my father was a cop. So he was really very clever at doing that. It's just I'm not, it's like first of all, I don't like TV that much, and when the guy said my father was, your father was a tough guy, I knew this guy didn't know my father. So, but he ripped off all of these cops and criminals in that bar to the tune of, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And, when I walked in, they thought, he was your friend. No, I didn't know. It wasn't I didn't do it. But I've always been fascinated how good con artists like that can get people, and they do all the time.
That's funny.
Evening, guys. When does Songkran start? I think it starts tomorrow. Officially starts tomorrow.
Here it does.
Yeah.
If the official for Thailand is in 5 days.
Yeah.
13th to the 15th, I think.
Yeah. But here, I think they're going the 9th through the
15th,
17th,
or 17th. Yeah. 17th.
Yeah. 8 days, which that's the longest I've ever remembered it being here.
Well, I think they thought that there'd be a huge, massive turnout, and I don't think that they thought that the smoke would be as bad as it is.
Yeah.
So you would think, like you said today, you were in town and it was kind of dead there, right?
Yeah, wasn't really anything going on.
Nobody splashing water. We drove around
No.
today. Nobody splashing water on us.
No, I didn't see anybody. I didn't see anything other than they are setting up stages at Taipei Gate. They got two stages set up. And the funny thing was they're tearing down a building across the street from Taipei Gate, and so I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. I know that the people are expecting big crowds. The hotels were, but in get-go, there were a group of Chinese that walked in, and there were about 8 of them. There was me, one other guy, and another guy sitting at the bar, and that was it. Other than that, the place was dead. So I looked at the water today. It looks a little bit better today. They may have cleaned it up a little bit, and they've raised the water up in most of the locations.
I'm laughing at the comment. The water in the canal didn't look too good. That's an understatement.
Yeah, well, in the video, it didn't look good at all.
It looked pretty nasty.
But it looks like they've cleaned it up, and they've put a lot of lily pads in there too. It looked kind of pretty today when I went through, especially after you turn at Chiang Mai Gate and make the turn to go towards Taipei Gate. It looked kind of nice. How's the air? Shit. The air quality.
Horrible.
It's about as bad as it can get. I can't. I can't even describe it. You walk out and you can maybe see 15, 20, 30 feet, and it's just a haze is all it is. And when the street lights are on, you can see the stuff in the light. So
you see the smoke.
And the sun always looks weird too at night when it's going down. You notice that?
Yeah,
it's like a blood red.
It's got a blood red. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's what we got to live with.
Yeah.
The sad thing about it is people still have to get out and work. Like the people at the market, they still have to sell their noodle, and it just. I was up there the other day, and none of them were wearing masks and stuff. And
Mm.
You know, over a period of time, it's rough on you.
Mm.
But they've got to do their thing. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to fix it. We'll have to wait and see. I both. Right now, I'm mainly a car man. I don't ride my motorcycle that much, but sometimes I'll use a motorcycle. But in this crappy air, I don't. I'll ride the motorcycle to the market or something like that, or around the village a little bit. But other than that, it's the vehicle.
I take Grab.
Yeah.
I have a car in front of my house, but I only usually use it when I leave town. If I go if I have to go someplace where there's no public transportation, I'll use the car, or I'll take it to the supermarket occasionally as well. But I avoid. I'll get on motorcycle taxis very occasionally if I really have no other choice. But I just avoid them just because it's so crowded here in Bangkok and there's so many accidents. I mean, a lot of people. I don't know. I was going to say a lot of people are unaware. I don't know. Maybe they are aware. But Thailand is always within the top 5 by the United Nations listing of motor vehicle deaths by motor vehicle.
Right.
Thailand's always in the top 5, and that's because of motorcycles. It's mostly
Yeah.
motorcycles. They don't break out cars and motorcycles. So there are lots of accidents. It's funny, I don't see a lot. I mean, I've been here a long time, and I can't recall seeing a lot of serious motorbike accidents, but they're happening. So I don't want to. A major injury at this point in my life is a game changer, so I avoid them.
Amen. I know that. I worry that this is going to kill a lot of the business, etc. off that just survived 3 years to now. Have this, especially when they have got extra. Yeah, it's going to hurt a lot of people.
Do you think tourism has gone down though? I mean, it's well, obviously it's better than last year.
Well,
But don't you think that the numbers are going up?
The numbers are going up, but I think the smoke is going to hurt people. I think it's going to hurt businesses. I think a lot of them, are planning for a successful soccer on, and it ain't going to happen.
I kind of that the people that come here now will only be here one time only because the smog will not. They won't come back again because of the smog.
Yeah. Says thank you for the pharmacy recommendation. Lady was very, yeah, she is. She's really, really great. One of the best pharmacies you can go to. Pura Pharmacy, right up on the other side of Taipei Gate. They carry just about anything, and what she doesn't have, she'll tell you where you get it, or get it for you. One of the other really nice people. I agree. I only use motor taxi from my condo. When we went to Pattaya, I took a motor taxi back down to the beach, and that's about the only time that I've ever rode one. I'm funny about getting back on the back of a motorcycle that somebody else is in control of. I don't mind driving them, but I don't like riding on the back of them. It's now we don't have too many of those here in Chiang Mai. Motorcycle taxis that I've seen. Have you seen very many of them, Spencer?
No, I think most of those are like towards the outskirts of town.
Yeah. Well, out here, we've got those 3-wheel motorcycles with the sidecar on them that got the roof on them. And they hang out by the market. And they'll drive you home, I think, for 50 baht or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is. But we don't have any motorcycle taxis down here. Bolt will offer you a motorbike if you go on their app to get a taxi from Pattaya to Bangkok. Yeah, that would be a trip. Oh God!
And you bring 2 big bags?
Yeah.
Probably yes. Yeah. They'll make.
They probably haul you around. That wouldn't be too bad, but golly, bub.
So here's the thing. Bill here, for those of you that may not know, is a motorcycle badass. He just sent me a video of a convoy of Harleys that he used to participate in, from with thousands of, I guess most of them were police officers from around the
Yeah,
country.
most of them were police officers from all over the world, believe it or not. They
And
come as far away from Canada.
they descended on New York. He sent me this video where they drive through Lower Manhattan and over the Brooklyn Bridge. And it was a very nostalgic video for me. That's my hometown,
Yeah.
and I'm watching them, and I'm thinking of how much I think the video was shot in around 2010,
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
around there somewhere.
Yeah, that was the only one I could find.
And I'm thinking of how much it's changed in Lower Manhattan in that, in the last 13 years. There's been a lot of changes that have occurred there. And but it was just a nostalgic video. But I thought they big old Harleys and they're driving it all over New York City. And of course, they have police escort, which makes it a little bit easier. But still, nonetheless, it's dealing with New York City streets and bridges.
Those guys, those New York City motor cops are some of the best I've ever seen. The time that I wrote it in 2001. I was there in 2001, and I went again in 2003. 2003, I didn't ride it. I drove down and partied with them at the park and waited for them to come back. But 2001, I rode it. And they had probably, it was raining that day too. They had probably 100 motor cops at the park. And I can't remember the name of the park that we started at. It's in the Bronx. It's on the far end of the Bronx. And Chester Park, Chester something or other. Does that ring a bell?
I don't know the Bronx that well.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, we started at that park, and I mean, it was just amazing. And we rode, and this was in 2001 in August, and we rode under the World Trade Center, down through that road, and then I remember going through a tunnel and stuff. It's just amazing.
Yeah, there's a tunnel that loops around the bottom of Manhattan and sends you back up, sends you from a southerly direction to a northerly direction.
But it was funny when we got back to after the thing. It was for the people. They put it, the Bronx Blue Knights put it on. It was to benefit 1-800-COP shop. They funded, that little thing. That's what the money was for. But it's funny. We got back to the park there. And we're all kind of standing around, and a couple of guys are kind of come in that were running the thing, and they said, "Yeah," he says, "We'll be out of here." He says, "Those people back in New York City will be still backed up in traffic 7 hours from now, trying to get out of the city." Hey, Roy, how you doing? Appreciate you stopping in, man. And I sent you a link if you want to come on. Just put your camera on. I'll put you up in here. But that was really an experience for me. I really enjoyed it. A wealthy German couple had booked 2 weeks at Four Seasons May Rim after a week. Four Seasons transfer. That's interesting. I haven't heard that. A Four Seasons is a real swanky hotel up in May Rim, and after a week, the Four Seasons transferred them. Why did they transfer? Because of the smoke, or?
Got to be because of the smog.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a really swanky, expensive hotel up there. But it is what it is, and until they figure out how to do something about it, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. But who knows? Charlie, tell us about your latest video.
Yeah. I don't know why I never thought of it before. I often complain about making videos that, the thing I knew the most about, my job in the fire department for 20 years, doesn't really make for popular videos. I mean, there's not that many stories in the fire department, and any of the videos that I have made about the fire department haven't done that well. When I go to New York, I go back to my old firehouse. Now, some of them got a little bit of traction, but they're not my most watched videos. And so even though I have a load of stories I'd love to tell about it, it's like if nobody's going to watch them, why father, right? So I said something like that to my friend Paul. He says, "Oh, you should just do a short video, teach people how to lift, how to do a fireman carry, how to lift an unconscious person off the ground." And interestingly enough, I had to use that not too long ago. Um, I had difficulty with somebody here in the house who was semi-conscious because they were having like a sugar overdose of some sort. I had to lift them up, and I was able to execute a fireman carry, and I was kind of pleased about that. That I was able to get them up off the floor, onto my shoulder, and carry them out the car. Now the person I did that with was like 40 kilos, so it made it a little easier, right? So I thought about it, and I made a video about it. I made an instructional how-to video on how to do a fireman carry, how to get an unconscious person up off the floor and onto your shoulder, and I made it a little bit with a little bit of humor as well, and yeah, it's doing very well. I just put up about 24 hours ago, and it's.
I just put a link up to it, but I don't think I did. I don't know if it doesn't seem to be working. Oh well. I thought I just gone to it and put a link in the. Let me try it again. I enjoyed it. I watched it. I really enjoyed the video.
I made a mistake again too. I filmed it in a vertical position for short video, and it went over the limit for YouTube Shorts. So I had to put it up as a regular video, but it's in a vertical format. But it's okay. It works.
Find it again.
That's pretty informative video, though. I mean, it's instead of like just being some normal video, you're teaching somebody something that may be useful to them.
It's a technique that that is really helpful, and it's not something you would think of. It's not an intuitive thing. If you have somebody lying in the back, you roll them over in your stomach, and you pick them up, you prop them up on their knees, and you put them on your knees, and then you put your knee into their crotch. You're kneeling down as well. Of course, you're going to put their arm over your head and get your shoulder down into their abdomen. But the way you lift them onto your shoulder is with your leg. You put your leg into their crotch, and you lift them with your toe and get them up onto your shoulder. Then you wrap their arm around. Once you got their arm, they're done. They're not going anywhere. And that's now the hard part is the deadlift is just standing up. But with a 40 kilo person, I was able to pull that off. And I was just I was like, hey, I can still do that, I guess. Now, of course, Spencer, if I find you unconscious, you're gonna die.
Just drag me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to leave us where we're at.
I had a few serious questions. I put my videos, especially the short videos, I put them on like 5 platforms, and Twitter, it's getting a lot of traction as well. A lot of people are watching it on Twitter, and people are asking me serious questions about it. So yeah, people are seeing the value of it. You never know when you might have to use it.
I did see your Siam Spicy channel though. Isn't that the one you have, Siam Spicy?
Oh, Sassy.
Sassy, that's it.
Yeah, that's on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, it's on Instagram.
Yeah. I am Sassy. I put that hash mark in a lot of places, so I don't know where you might have seen it. But I have an Instagram channel called I am Sassy. I'm Sassy or something like that. That's all the girls. That's my girlfriend's nieces and daughters and all the younger kids. And I group them together and put them aside. There's no adults. And
yeah, it looked like you were doing something with fashion or something. You had them sitting there with a guitar posing, and then a guy behind her and all that.
That wasn't a guy. That was a kind of butch young girl. That's right. Yeah, that's it. I don't think there are any. Well, no, I may have put Peking in 1 or 2 of them. So there maybe if you go scroll way back, you'll find 1 or 2 young men in it. But no, that's all girls, and they are fashion style. I mean, from a photographer's perspective, that's what you would call them. You would call them fashion shoots. And I put the one that you're talking about. She had a Rolling Stones T-shirt on.
Yeah.
That did very well. A lot of people watched that. I made a short and a couple of. I got some nice photographs out of that.
Nice.
I just did a photo shoot with Sai-Sai, a 22-year-old, and Ying, who's 19 now. I just did a quick one, not quick, but a photo shoot with them yesterday, and I got some great shots. So they'll be popping up on there as well. That's a pretty popular channel. That does very well. I mean,
really.
I mean, I keep it, I mean, they're kind of sexy looking and they're cute as hell. They're all young, but I keep it clean. I don't do it, there's no TNA in it. If that's what you're looking for, you're gonna have to go elsewhere.
That's funny. God. Oh well.
Yeah, if you go to any of my videos, I put links to almost all of my social media sites in the description. So
I
if
think
you want
that's
to see,
better for him.
yeah, if you want to see my photographs, you can go down there and find them.
Okay.
You need to do one on the Heimlich maneuver. Somebody's choking.
Yeah, that's an idea, and
Yeah.
I'm letting the wheels turn in my head right now, but it was hard to make an amusing video out of that one. With the with the fireman carry, I had Boer up on my shoulder, and I'm standing there, and I said, "Let me get my prop. I'll show you what I did here." Calls for a prop. My fire helmets are back in the States, so we had to do with a baseball cap. So, all right, so I had her. I'm holding her like this, and I was like, okay, so if there are any firefighters or potential firefighters watching this, this is the important part. You got to remember, I got Boer strung over my shoulder with her ass pointing at the camera. And I says, okay, what you got to do is you got to stand tall, puff up your chest, and pull the brim of your helmet down over your eyes. Jut your chin forward, because when you walk out the door of the building, there's going to be people out there taking your picture, and you'll want to look cool. and as I walked past the camera, I didn't plan this; it just worked out that way. I walked past the camera was pointed. There was one of the kids was taking the video, and it's pointed right at Boo's ass. so you get I get to get a little TNA in that one.
Oh, God.
But it was a fun video. It's doing very well. It's actually getting a lot of hits.
So just tell Charlie that Cantina next to Soho has reopened. Cantina.
Next to Soho.
Cantina is Cantina the massage place?
I don't know. I'm trying to place a Cantina next to Soho Pizza.
Oh, now I don't know where Soho Pizza is. That one's.
What are we talking about here?
I don't know. Cantina next to Soho Pizza. He'll pop up here with it. Takes a while to respond to that. Huh. I thought he was talking about that pizza place.
I could be talking about New York. I don't know, in Soho. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Link worked for me, okay, huh? I don't know. Soho, tell Charlie Cantina next to Soho Pizza has reopened. Whatever.
Okay.
But I thought he was talking about, what's the name of that pizza place I took you to, right across on Soy 11.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but it was a good.
It began with a V, I think. I don't think it was Soho.
Vesuvio or something like that. Or?
Yeah, Visario or.
Yeah,
Got real good pizza though. Woo.
They're probably still there. I mean, that street always seems to maintain traffic on it. But yeah, that one's good pizza. There's a few places you get decent pizza in.
Yeah, there is. Somebody told me about another place called Pepe's. I found it on Google Maps, but I haven't been there yet. And as a matter of fact, I was sitting at what's the name of that place where you and I first met? Terminal 21, the pizza place.
Paula.
I was sitting at Paula's having a piece of pizza, and I had ordered some spaghetti too. And the lady sitting next to me, she goes, she tells me, you need to try Pepe's Kitchen or something like that. She says it's really, really good. And I looked on Google. I found it on Google. It wasn't far, but I just I haven't been back to try it, so who knows? And Chef Bing, he's moved down on the other side of Soy 4. He's really hard to get to now.
Yeah, you were unhappy with his place when you went there. Said it was too noisy.
Yeah, the pizza was good, but I didn't like the way he had it set up. He had the bar set up right in the where you're sitting there eating, and I'll give him credit. It was really not his fault. He had some employees that were being real noisy, and you just couldn't hear yourself thinking. And I got back to the house. I told him about it. I sent him a message. I said, the dining experience was not very good. For when you're sitting there and you got people yelling back and forth and stuff. And he said, yeah, and kind of apologized for it, but the pizza was good. Thank you, X. I appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Thank you. But maybe he's changed. I don't know. I would hope to think that he did, because he did have really, really good pizza. But
he was a pleasant chap too.
Yeah.
We went there with Dana. Dana, for those of you watching, is a great big boy with a big old beard, and he used to do MMA wrestling. Dana is a big lad, it seems whenever you do a podcast, Bill, Dana's doing one as well. We seem to have conflicting podcasts, but I've been doing a lot of back and forth with Dana, trying to set up a lunch, and he suggested that pizza guy. What's his name? Who are we talking about here?
Chef Bing.
Chef Bing, yeah. And he suggested that, and I think I'm going to talk him out of it. I'm going to redirect him to someplace else, based on Bill's a pizza guy.
Well, no, the pizza was good. Let me tell you, the pizza was just like what we had that night. It was just he had somebody visiting that was friends with the guy that was tending bar for him. They had the bar set up there, and they were just extremely loud. And Leck and I were sitting there trying to eat. The acoustics was horrible, and it just made for a bad dining experience. And we had walked from Soy 11 down there to get there, and it was kind of a long walk. But I'd go back and try his pizza again. I wouldn't have any problem with that. But now the place that I like the most is the one, on your walk of shame right there.
Soy 11.
Yeah, Vasalio's or whatever it's called. They have excellent pizza there, and it's like I think it's 340 baht, and it's just enough to eat for me. I can eat one, and
the walk of shame. When you say that, anybody that's ever been here knows exactly what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's funny. But that is an interesting walk when you do it, when you start from like Soy 11, cross the street and walk down through that little alley there, and when you go through the hotels, there's a little alleyway that you have to kind of sneak through to get through. It's kind of interesting down there. The last trip I had planned, I was going to stay right in one of those hotels back there. Like it found it for me, and then I moved to a hotel, and then I ended up not going anyway, so it didn't make any difference. That's a neat little area there to fool around. You get yourself, you get yourself in trouble over there too if you wanted to. Who knows? But, just have to kind of wait and see what happens. So, what are your plans for Sokran, Charlie? Is she leaving town and going to leave you alone? Or?
Yeah, the whole family's going up. They have a whole big family powwow going on. There's land transfers and all sorts of things that they have to settle down. And it's Songkran, and she wants to go to a special lot up there, and she keeps asking me to go with them, and I'm not going. It's like, I hate traveling over Songkran. It's just too crowded. So I'll stay here and practice yoga, make some videos. Go out to eat, amuse myself. I'm a happy boy when I'm alone. I'm not one of these people who need people around me all the time. So I would, like today, I was thinking about taking a trip on my own. I can get a free trip to Ulaanbaatar, but I don't know. I don't know if I really want to do that. It's no big plans.
Now you're planning to go back to the States pretty soon, aren't you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, August.
August.
I'm going. Yeah, I already booked that flight. I have a family wedding. It wasn't my plan to travel back to the States until probably 2024, but my sister's youngest son is getting married, and as one of my daughters pointed out, I am the family patriarch at this point, which is true. My brothers have all passed away, and it's just me and my sister, and it's the right thing for me to do to go. And so yeah, I'm going in August, which will be nice. I'll be hanging around New York City for a while in August, so it should be a nice trip. The city isn't too crowded then. Most of a lot of the people that live in New York City get out of town in August because it can get pretty hot there. And they go out to Long Island and that kind of thing. So the city will be easy to get around in. And, I'll go visit a few friends and, practice some yoga with some old yoga people that I know there, stuff like that. So it'll be a nice trip.
No more train rides?
No.
Not going to take the train?
Hey, here's the good news about that train ride. What is it? My last trip to the States, I took an Amtrak from Chicago to California, and the trip sucked. There was a million things wrong with it. So, and while I'm not one to make negative complaining kind of videos, I made one about Amtrak, and it's my most popular video ever. And it keeps getting hits, and it's getting like 150 a day now, and it's like I put it up in January, middle of January, and people commenting, it's getting a lot of engagement and all that other stuff. And the train lovers hate it. They're always bashing me. There are people that just love the daylights out of trains. They're just train people. And, while there isn't one false statement in that video, they're just, I wouldn't want to listen to this whiner, comments. It's like, oh, sorry, that's what happened. It's like it was a pretty crappy train ride. And what prompted the video is there is a guy named Jeb Brooks who makes really good videos. I like Jeb Brooks. Not that I've ever met him, but he's a very charming kind of guy, and he makes excellent videos. And he does travel critiques, not only on trains, but airplanes and everything else as well. But what I came to learn is that he's one of those train people. He just really loves trains. And it's hard for him to be critical about trains. And I got on this Amtrak California Zephyr thinking it was going to be this wonderful trip because of Jeb. And the trip really sucked. I mean, there were a million things wrong with it, like broken toilets, and it was 11 hours overdue and stuff like that. So I kind of criticized Jeb a little bit too. But Jeb's videos get like 1 million views. So it's like Amtrak is getting all of these, this positive kind of promotional videos for free. Jeb says he doesn't get paid by him. There's no reason not to believe him. And it's like, they're getting all of this positive stuff. And I'm like, no, I got to put up what's really going on here. And the majority of the comments are people who are like, yeah, I agree with you. Amtrak I wouldn't recommend them. Let's just leave it as that.
Oh, okay. I know. Okay. He said, sorry, I stepped out. Soy 11. There's a new New York style. Yeah. Soho pizza. Yeah. I've had pizza there. It's okay. It's awfully expensive by the time you get it. I think I went in and got a slice of pepperoni and a Coke, and I'm thinking it was almost 300 baht by the time I got out of there. It's right down at the end of Soy 11.
That's like $15. In New York, you pay that much for a slice.
Yeah. Well, I'm cheap. But now next door to that place has a great burger. I can't remember the Daniel's Burger.
There's a couple of good burger joints there. I can't really eat.
Yeah, Daniel's Burger is really, really good.
There's some really good restaurants up and down Soy 11. There's some good places there. Yeah.
They had the restaurant right next door. I know where you're talking about now. Yeah. But
you say Soho Pizza, I think of New York.
Yeah.
Soho. What Soho is an acronym. It means south of Houston Street.
Huh.
You could always tell New Yorkers because they look at the sign and they go, oh, Houston Street. No, it's pronounced Houston in New York. Spelled the same. But that's what Soho stands for in New York, is south of Houston Street. Back when I was a young boy, Soho was factories and warehouses and that kind of thing. And now it's $1 million apartment, multi-million-dollar apartments. Very expensive. They converted all those old factory buildings to insanely expensive condominiums and that kind of thing. Art galleries.
Just about every place in Manhattan has since changed. Because I remember when we went in, I think it was probably 2008, and I took one of those bus tours, where you get on the bus, and they took us through Harlem. And I mean, it was like, they were like it was all cleaned up, all fixed up, and nothing like what it was back in the 70s when I was there.
Well, the main part, 125th Street in Harlem was always kind of okay. I mean, you got to remember that Harlem, back to the early part of the 20th century, was like a jazz place. It's where, it was an African American neighborhood, and even back then.
Mm-hmm.
But back when jazz was popular, between the two wars, between World War I and World War II, it was kind of a prosperous place, and that's where you got dressed up and went out to listen to jazz, that kind of thing. And in the 60s and the 70s, it had a little bit of a setback. There was a lot of poverty and problems up there. But 125th Street, where the Apollo Theater is, has always been a safe and nice restaurants and that kind of thing. And now, it's like every other neighborhood in New York. It's like you got to be a millionaire to live there.
Daniel Burger moved out. Yeah, I had burgers the last time I was there. It was really good. There's another place too. If you're into burgers, it's called 25 Degrees, and it's out towards the river. I can't remember exactly where it was. Leck took me there a couple times, but they have really, really good burgers. And just nice place to go and eat. They were, relatively expensive, but, what are you going to do? You got to pay for it. One thing that I've noticed about Bangkok that we haven't really seen that much of here is you've got the 10% service charge, and then you've got the 7% that they add on to the bills. We don't have that too many places up here, but it's pretty common.
I tell you, I don't go back to a place if they have the service charge.
Really?
Like Pala doesn't have the service charge. A lot, the German beer garden on Soy 11, they don't charge a service charge. Now, if I go into a place and I'm unaware of it and they charge it, I just, I reduce the tip that I'm going to give to them, if I'm going to give a tip. I mean, you don't have to tip here in Thailand if you don't want to. But if they charge a service charge, I tend to avoid the place, because I don't think that the wait staff is getting that.
Yeah, I don't either. And Duke's used to do that for a long time.
Yeah.
Now they've stopped doing that too. They don't. I think if you go in, there's over 6 people at the table, they charge a service charge. But
actually, they'll do that in New York too. If you have a great big table, they'll put up a service charge. But I won't be a patron in a place that does that, because it's like, that's especially here in Thailand, because Thailand, tipping here is really optional.
Yeah.
It's like if you're tipping somebody, you're being a nice guy, and it's like and if I get crappy service, I don't tip them. They have to, I don't have very high standards. I'm not one of these people that hold them to New York standards here. I know they're just goofy country kids that have never really waited tables before. If they're nice and they don't drop shit, I'll drop a little, drop a few baht on them. I mean, they work hard. Yeah, that's right.
I went into a place. That was probably about 2 or 3 months ago, and I won't mention the name of it, but they had the prices of the food on the menu, and they also had the VAT and the 10% service charge. But when you got the bill, the 10% was, instead of adding the 10% at the bottom, it was added to each individual item that you ordered. So you didn't really know what you were getting charged. I was not I was not real happy about it. I'll never go back to that place again. I felt like I was being robbed.
Yeah, being a little slick.
Yeah, don't be tricky about it. Well, guys, we've been on for an hour. If anybody's got any more questions, throw them up there and we'll get them answered. We'll see what's going on, and we'll try to be here next week. You have to see what's going on. But anyway, I appreciate everybody checking in, and Roy, I appreciate you coming in, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Take care.